Welcome to Giants Latest. Free agency has been a wild ride, and we need to talk about one of the Giants signings that they made. So, they signed an offensive tackle, James Hudson III. And don't get too excited. It's not really a great signing, in my opinion. The things that I have seen about him from Browns fans, because he's coming to us from Cleveland, and from other analysts and people who've watched some film on him, is that he's not really a great swing tackle. However, there are two things I like about this signing. Number one, it's proving to me that they are focusing on depth. And we can talk about that with the defensive end signing that they made and the defensive tackle signing that they made. Obviously, there has been a depth problem on this team for a while, and it seems to have gotten worse, not better, since Joe Schoen has been here. So, unfortunately, they're prioritizing depth through free agency. I think they will continue to do that with the draft because obviously this team has a lot of holes. But bad drafts, bad free agent contracts, misjudged talent, all of those things have led to the fact of where the roster and where the Giants are right now, which is not a great football team. The second thing that I like about this signing is that to me, it proves that Joe Schoen is finally learning some lessons, okay? Because we have gone back-to-back years where Joe Schoen has not prioritized a swing tackle, whether it's been in free agency or the draft. The swing tackle has been Evan Neal or Joshua Ezeudu, who are both god-awful tackles in the NFL. So now, at least, he's made a move. I don't know if James Hudson, to be honest, is that much better than either one of them, but he has more experience playing swing tackle than the two of them. And he also is a new guy coming in, which means that they're not going to rely on Ezeudu and Neal to be the swing tackle, which I personally like. Now, I would have preferred that they signed Tyree Phillips. He was my pick for a swing tackle. But like I said, I'm just happy that it seems like Joe Schoen is learning from his mistakes, and on top of that, he is prioritizing depth, which is a necessity with this team, especially when everyone seems to be injured all the time. Now, with that being said, let's talk about the offensive line, because this is one of the positions of the Giants that has been riddled with injuries and depths. So are they actually going to sign a right guard? What is the holdup? What's taking so long? To be honest, I don't know. I do think that part of it is the quarterback situation, which we're going to talk about Aaron Rodgers in a minute because that man is really pissing me off. But let's start with the right guard situation. Like I said, I think that Joe Schoen is really learning from his mistakes, and we can also talk about this with the safety position, right? Because last year, they decided to not pay Xavier McKinney, and he ended up getting $18 million a year from the Packers, which a lot of people agreed was an overpay. They spent a lot of money on him. He's done well for the Packers, which has been great. I think there were two pieces to the Xavier McKinney thing. Number one, the Giants didn't want to retain him because of things that he said in the media. He talked poorly about his coach, Wink Martindale. He talked poorly about the organization. And after the whole UTV accident and the way that the Giants handled it versus, like what McKinney said about it, I think that the Giants felt like, we don't really want to pay this guy. We're happy to move on. And I think, unfortunately, that they learned the hard way that not having a good veteran safety and the way that they had assembled the roster and the scheme that they were using last year failed on all sides of it. So, again, I think that he's finally learning his lessons, right? He's bringing in a swing tackle after 2 years of not having one. He's paying a safety because of what happened last year with McKinney and going in with a very young safety group. So he brought in a veteran corner and paid good money for one this year after last year on Hard Knocks saying that he can play cornerback after getting Brian Burns. So this is where we're at. And I'm not saying that I think Joe Schoen is a great GM, so don't misunderstand me. I think he's done a lot of things wrong, but I think you have to give credit where credit is due, and I think that he's learning. It's taken him long enough. Would have liked him to learn a little bit quicker. But anyway, I think that he's learning. So all of that to say, I think they are going to sign a right guard because I think that they are not that stupid that they are going to go into the season with Joshua Ezeudu or Evan Neal as the starting right guard. I refuse to believe it from a mentality perspective. Again, they cannot possibly be that delusional. And I also think that, again, he's learning from his lessons. So the lesson here is, we brought in Greg Van Roten last year. He was okay. Let's see if we can upgrade him. But it seems like we're allotting the money to the quarterback first, which is fair. But the good news for the Giants is that Mekhi Becton, Dalton Reisner, Brandon Scherf, there are still right guards available in free agency. So That's the good news, that if Aaron Rodgers decides to take another week, which I hope that the Giants tell him to piss off if he does that and sign someone else, then they can work on the right guard move. So I really think that the right guard move is coming. Maybe I'm being overly optimistic, and maybe I am wishful thinking over here, but I just think that they had to have learned from their mistakes, and they cannot possibly going into the season with Evan Neal as right guard, who has not played right guard since college. Now, let's talk about Aaron Rodgers. This man is infuriating. Absolutely infuriating. And I could give you a laundry list of reasons why, but this is what I'm going to talk about, okay? It is now Wednesday. Monday, late afternoon, early evening, there were multiple reports from media members saying Aaron Rodgers and the Steelers basically have a done deal. He's going to the Steelers. It's all set. We're just waiting for the final word, okay? This is Monday, okay? It's Wednesday. Tuesday, yesterday, Ian Rappaport is on the Pat McAfee show. Of course, they're both talking about the Aaron Rodgers thing. Oh, the Giants are fully in the mix now, says Ian Rappaport around noon yesterday. The Giants are fully in the mix. He's still deciding. He's weighing the pros and the cons, but he's starting to feel like the Giants might be a good opportunity for him. And he likes some of the moves that he made, whatever the reasons that the Giants sold him on, the same reasons that I'm sure they sold John Mara on the fact that they should be retained, is how, okay, we can turn it around this year and yada, yada. You've got Malik Neighbors, you got Dexter Lawrence, Andrew Thomas. We're going to bring these guys in free agency. This is what we're going to do in the draft, whatever, okay? So now, 24 hours ago, Giants are heavily in the mix. It's between the Steelers and the Giants, okay? Then there's these little parting words after Daniel Jones signs with the Colts. Oh, the Vikings only have J.J. McCarthy. They need a veteran quarterback. Maybe Aaron Rodgers is going to be in the mix there. So now you've potentially got the Vikings in the mix. My problem with Aaron Rodgers, okay, is that we are on day 3 of this nonsense. And I know for a fact this man is thriving on the drama. He's having the time of his life. He's sitting in his Montclair mansion. He's putting on his vision board. Oh, the pros and cons of every team. I've got all the time in the world. I'm Aaron Rodgers. I'm a 4-time MVP. Let them sit around and wait for me. I'm going to hold up the quarterback. All the quarterbacks are held hostage now with the other teams because no one else can make a move until Mr. King Aaron Rodgers decides what he's going to do. I just know this 41-year-old pathetic man is thriving, and it's disgusting, and I hate it. It's enough. You are 41 years old, okay? This is not going to affect his future, okay? He is not coming off a rookie contract where he's married with children and has to decide where he wants to be for the next 5 to 10 years and which team he wants to go to, who has the better roster because they have chances of a Super Bowl. Newsflash, Aaron Rodgers, whether you go to the Giants, the Steelers, or even the Vikings, you are not going to the Super Bowl. Let's be clear and let's be honest. And this is coming from a Giants fan. I am not stupid. I know what this roster looks like. I know what this team looks like. I understand that Aaron Rodgers is a good quarterback. He's going to come in here. Great. Maybe we're going to win 7 or 8 games. You know what we're not going to do is go to the Super Bowl, okay? We are talking about a 1, maybe 2-year deal that is not under any circumstances going to be life-changing for Aaron Rodgers. So what is the holdup? What is the holdup? It's been over a week since there was talk that the Giants were interested in Aaron Rodgers. As soon as Justin Fields signed with the Jets, oh, the Steelers are in on Aaron Rodgers. This has been going on for so long at this point that it's absolutely ridiculous and it's infuriating, and he needs to make up his mind because it's getting ridiculous. And the last thing that I just heard from someone in the Giants, not in the Giants building, someone who knows someone in the Giants building, very close source here, is that it's not about the money for Aaron Rodgers, although the Giants are thinking that they might be going up to $40 million, which if they get anywhere close to that, fire Joe Shane immediately. I'm done. Done. That's unacceptable. The most recent thing that he said to me was that it's not about the money, okay? So if the Giants are really willing to pay this man $40 million, which I don't really think it is because I don't think the Steelers, Mike Tomlin is not giving that man $40 million. Let's be honest. So if it was about the money, he would take the money and go to the Giants, right? I don't know what the holdup is. It sounds like it's not the money. It sounds like the Giants are willing to spend. And I hate both of those things. And all I have to say is this man better get his head out of his ass and make a goddamn decision because it's annoying and it's ridiculous and he's acting like a child at this point. Okay? Enough. Let's talk about the defense because I am actually very excited about the defense and I think it's shaping up to look really good and I'm excited about this. My biggest problem that I have with the defense right now, I have a couple, but the biggest one is Shane Bowen because he's not going to have the excuse this year that he doesn't have the talent, okay? They brought in a rotational defensive end in Chauncey Golston, who had 5.5 sacks last year. They brought in a defensive tackle, Roy Robertson Harris, who's going to be in the rotation. He is not Dexter Lawrence. He's not anything remotely close to Dexter Lawrence. But they have some sort of help there that if they end up keeping Nacho and Nacho goes down, you've got a veteran there as opposed to Jordan Riley or DJ Davidson, or even Elijah Chapman, who's done okay. I hope that Elijah Chapman continues to improve. But if you look at our defense as a whole, they have upgraded multiple positions so far, and it's exciting. And think about it, we still have so many draft picks left. I know we don't know what's going to happen with the quarterback position, and I think that's going to affect the draft in some point. But just think, if at the third overall pick, we get Travis Hunter or Mason Graham or Will Compton, how excited are we about this defense, okay? Like, we already have good upgrades in free agency. If they can make good upgrades in the draft again, and I have to say, I feel like a little bit confident in Joe Shane that he'll have a good, not like amazing, but I think he'll have a good draft this year. Think about the defensive tackle that they could get. They could get a really good defensive player at 3, or they could get one at 34. There's going to be really good options for them. And like I said, they've already upgraded in positions that we so desperately needed upgrades in. The cornerback and the safety. We've upgraded the secondary. We've got Brian Burns, Dexter Lawrence, it's Kayvon. I don't know. I feel excited about it. Now, obviously the concern is, can the offense put up more than 7 points? Which right now the answer to that is 100% no. But it's still early. So I think we can be optimistic about the defense. We can feel good that they've made good signings so far. We're starting to have some depth. And listen, like I said, it's up to you, Shane Bowen. You got to figure it out. Fix the system to work with the players and the talents and their abilities. And do not force them to do what they did last year, which was suck. And look, at the end of the day, the players have to execute, okay? I'm aware of that. But a lot of it is on the coaches putting them in the right position to succeed. And I think that falls on Shane Bowen this year. And I think that if he does that, he puts them in a place to succeed. The Giants defense should have a very good year. And that's something to be excited about. Stay tuned for more.